I don't know. I'm not going to be that mean, but Scylla Esports in the past, it has been a case of how do we play this to all 7 games, and they have done it to Secession. Here we go. Match number 1 begins now. Billy Fan Club taking on Scylla Esports with a share in $8,888, and Torsos brings it straight into the goal for the first shot of the game.
BFC with that beautiful 3-man rotation, applying pressure straight off the bat. It is a good indicator of how things could be going.
Scylla Esports goes straight for the bump in front of that net for Billy Fan Club, but it doesn't result in a goal. Instead, ball control seems their priority right now, and Jake will match up into the air and try and follow the ball down, but it's already been received, and Torsos has pushed back. Jake has pushed up. Interesting style from Billy Fan Club to start off.
Yeah, Scylla is definitely trying to get those bumps, intercepts, and steals, and they've been punishing them earlier in the league play by doing so, and it's given them a lot of opportunity to open up those goals.
Scylla Esports there just centered the ball right in front of net again, getting some good opportunities, but there's no follow-up, and Billy Fan Club, here they go. They're opening in their defense. Drip A rotates back on over, the ball goes in front. Jake clears it away up to Snaffles here. All right, across. AoE Emp touches the ball. Snaffles, did he change his name? I think he might have. Korea, the finals when it counts.
That's it. You've got to lull you into a false sense of security, Jake, before he strikes with a new name change. Big bump coming out to knocking out Drip A. We are seeing that aggressive Scylla punching away at the players, not just the ball.
Ball's going to jump on down to Dumbo, who clears it up to AoE Amp. He missed the second touch, so Dumbo's going to follow through, but 3 members from Billy Fan Club really strict on this defense right now in game number 1. Getting the feel for it, but here we go. Scylla Esports opportunity. Who's getting the clear? Miscommunication. Tripe leaves the ball, and Torsos will luckily get it out of there, but Scylla Esports had another opportunity there.
Well, that was a perfect example of them having holes in their rotation where they were both expecting them to get the touch, but there was no follow-up. Scary moment here. Dripe takes the shot, punishing them for the exact same mistake.
There's the first goal. Billy Fan Club completing our expectations in game number 1. Look at that. Off the wall. Bounces down. Korea, that came as a big surprise to Scylla Esports.
Well, that's Drip A, the golden boot, just showcasing his talent from the opposite side of the pitch, off the wall, still manages to pull one through.
And this has brought us into the game number 1 theatrics as the ball getting closer and closer towards that goal. Scylla Esports setting it up, but Torsos and Jake get the clear out. It hits around the center field, and here we go. Off the left-hand wing, it bounces down. Torsos has another opportunity. He tries to flick it up himself, and Snaffles will just get it away.
And it has locked Scylla Esports in that left corner of the pitch, which will mean even if they get a clear, there won't be anyone there to do a good follow-up. And there we see Torsos stealing it right back.
Looks like Billy Fan Club getting on top of their defense. I say that, though, and a shot comes off of that corner. Definitely not done yet. A Scylla Esports relentless in front of this goal. We talk about momentum. We talk about relentlessness. Only once per game, apparently. Dumbo off the backboard. Here we go. The setup for AoE Amp. Jake's there. Get the ball. It goes through, and it's equalized.
That is the score, 1-1, 2 minutes 24. Exceptionally tight, just as we suspected. And we're seeing a great showcase of talent of the pressure-building strategies of Scylla.
Also, Billy Fan Club potentially should have had that. Maybe Jake, not enough boost in the tank.
And a bit of miscommunication as well, I think, Asterix.
100%.
Both of them in the goals, neither of them driving in. Both actually just stationary. Doesn't give you the jump you need.
Torsos is a great center pass. AoE Amp to disengage. Jake off the backboard. He boosts on up. Over to Drip A, hits it off the rip, trying to find the follow-through. Torsos intercept to complete that transaction, but in comes Jake once again. They're looking for these pass plays cross-field. It's just not working out. Snaffles, also known as Snarf, will just clear it away.
Well, that's exactly what we've been seeing all through league play against Scylla Esports, is those attacking plays where they bump out players so they can't get the connections.
A lot of speed on that shot you saw there, but easily defended by Scylla Esports. Snaffles again finds the ball in the intercept. In the middle of this field, AoE Amp back in front of goal, and Billy Fan Club getting some good shots here, and Scylla Esports, they are responding, like some plays here as we see off the middle. Great pass for AoE Amp to secure.
Oh, and the follow-up as well. The angle of that car rotation, allowing him to put in the far left pass defense, is a beautiful shot. Strictly outplaying Drip A.
And here we go again. Scylla Esports using their speed and those passing plays that created the second goal. Billy Fan Club, one play is all it took. In the middle, the intercept from Drip A does secure a shot, but not a goal. Jake has another crack, and the goal will be whiffed once again. Demolition in front of goal sets it up. The ball to bounce down. Scylla Esports rotate back. Luckily in time. Drip A to pass over to Jake. He comes out of the air. The ball not going to be cleared fully just yet. We're playing around this center field, but Scylla Esports finally regained that drive, and the ball is going in their favor into another goal. for Dumbo to secure.
Great read there by Scylla, catching Billy Fan Club with their pants down earlier and then punishing them 30 seconds later by that double commit.
Billy Fan Club, 2 people in defense, no one to hit the ball. Scylla Esports come through and they expose the weakness right at the heart. 3-1 with 1 minute remaining. Torsos, what can he do with this play? Looks like nothing. Again, diffused. And the defense from Scylla Esports is starting to ramp up.
And they can afford to do it because their rotations have been so much nicer than BFC. Just like Wolfie said, if they can stop double committing, they have it, but it doesn't seem like today's that day.
Ball bouncing down. Dumbo cannot redirect that one. Torsos, he's rotated back into defense once again. Jake is there, hits it off the air, but Scylla Esports have other ideas as they continue to play in front of this net. Another shot's going to come off the backboard. Here we go in front of the net. Opportunities lie in wait, and Snaffles almost snapping that one up. Scylla Esports. Still, they got 30 seconds to play with 2 goals up.
And they have complete control as well. BFC's clears haven't been very great and have passed possession straight back round, and Scylla's back on the attack.
Exactly right. BFC cannot get the ball out of this half. There's great positioning from Scylla Esports. And you can see here, they finally get it down Scylla Esports' side. It's a defensive play, but it's going to work for them as they are 2 goals up. They've got 5 seconds to play with. And game 1 out of this best-of-7 quarterfinals is going to go over to Scylla Esports.
Ooh, the prediction is making me a little bit uncomfortable, Jay.
You did say, what, 4-2, 4-3?
4-2. It's looking a bit rocky.
But Scylla Esports have to pick up a game. We always said Billy Fan Club, drop a game first, drop a game second. Get that feel for it, and it feels like this game has been exactly that. It has been a Scylla Esports drive-through, let's play fast, and Billy Fan Club not really knowing what to do.
Well, that's it. Their rotations have been quite sloppy. They're double committing, and the fact that Scylla is so happy to go in for those big bumps and disrupt whatever coordination they have just means they're all over the shop. Exactly. So even if they can do defense like 15 seconds, they're going to lose it eventually because one of them will go...
But I mean, it has been Billy Fan Club being like, oh, there's miscommunication. He should have hit that ball. He should have defended that.
Oh, yeah.
And in game 1, that was a real big show of what we've been talking about the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, there was that moment you pointed out where they're both just sitting in goals waiting, and the ball just goes in. They're both like, oh, yeah, I thought you had it. Neither of them go for the jump until it's way too late.
Well, Jake goes back. Maybe no boost. I'm assuming no boost because otherwise he should have been there. Yeah. Normally, you know, they do normally play off the backboard. We've seen with a couple of their shots and that first goal, there was a lot of momentum on that backboard.
Yep.
And it's an interesting play that BFC have adapted off that international stage, which they kind of had before. But it is now starting to backfire as a lot more teams are playing off that backboard, and Scylla know how to respond to it.
Well, that's it. They know all about the pressure plays because Jam, we saw they had that, oh, sorry, not Jam, BFC had that big 3-man pass play. Yeah, it's all in there. The BFC had that big 3-man pass play, and then as soon as they got telegraphed, Scylla shut it down.
Here we go, game number 2. Scylla Esports, what this means for them is they'll have to verse Hellhorse Esports, but you got so many more games to go. In a best-of-7 series, there is a lot of time on their hands. Billy Fan Club may lose game number 1, but here we go. This is their chance to redeem. Make it neck and neck. Off the corner, Drippe will be the one to respond to this ball. It rolls around the corner, and BFC starting to set up their play. Jake through the air. This is a nice touch off the backboard. Torso trying to chip it over, slows it down. But it's still going to be Scylla Esports who regain control. And Torsos finds the center, but that's going to be the clear from Scylla.
Yeah, Drippe a little bit slow on the uptake there, missing the opportunity. And now the punish comes from Snuff, allowing them to get possession back of the ball.
You see a pass play going into transgression there. Scylla Esports really passing it downfield. Here we go again. They're going to go for something quite similar. Maybe they've been watching a little bit of Kami as the ball comes off the wall. And that's a better clear from BFC, actually getting a little bit more distance on that ball. But
oh, yeah, 100%. That was a meaningful one. And great shot there by Dumbo. Scylla forcing them to use that boost on the defense, pulling straight back out.
There we go. AOEM showing the Kami special. Ball misses by BFC. Maybe for the better as it's going to get pinched all the way over to the other side of the field. Around this corner, shot for Drippe. Hits it in the corner. Nicely done and misread by Scylla.
That's why he got the golden boot. That is an insane shot that he pulled perfectly off the post, just enough to get that sweet rebound if needed.
Drippe securing the first was just like game number 1 where BFC took control in the early portion. But Scylla took it right back. That kickoff is going to be nice and slow to Scylla. Snuff trying to bring it on forward. I'm glad he's changed his name this time.
Huge bump there on Torsos will allow them to push forward and take control of the ball.
Billy Fan Club, Drippe going to play it through the aerial. The ball comes to a standstill around the corner again. Have to rotate back. Billy Fan Club, Torsos. That's him. The ball bounces down. He's just worried about picking up the boost pads, getting ready for the next big play. He rotates back. It's all about boost management with BFC. If I dare say so myself, that's a bold call.
No, I'd say you're entirely right, Jake. They love their big aerial pass plays. So you need to be able to intercept them, and you need the boost.
Oh, especially right now as the ball is hanging in the air above BFC's net. Scylla Esports keep bringing it on down. Bigger clears, bigger moments. Bumped out of the way. Jake, the ball's going to bounce right in front of that goal. It goes in. No! Saved away, but followed through. Maybe it is a yes.
Lovely to see there that they had that big bump, knocking out the expected defender. Torsos not getting the touch he needed. AOEM, beautiful punish. That guy's always up in their faces.
I feel like he ran into Drippe there. I mean, he either ran into Drippe or Drippe was like the second best.
There was definitely a case of, we said all through this match, they're double committing, and it is costing them dearly.
Yep. Scores equalized again. Scylla Esports bringing back in the later portions of these games, using the confusion. Jake will hit the ball up, and there's no one there to follow it except for Torsos, who finally gets there. It's centered over. Nice touch. Would have been there from Drippe. It goes back to Jake. They're not done just yet. Billy Fan Club off of the backboard. Here we go. Their opportunity to get another goal, but just not found. Scylla Esports have so much better possession.
I love to see that Scylla's going a bit slower than we'd typically see. It just shows how comfortable they are knowing they can get these intercepts rather than have to go straight pressure from playing stupidly fast.
It was a good mid-air bump, but again, there was no follow-up from Drippe, who was sitting in the midfield. Dumbo, he's been passed up. Mid-air demolition will mean Scylla Esports will probably just rotate back. Ball is pinched back away to this corner, so Scylla still keeping up the offense. And they're not giving up just yet, especially not because they're playing so well in this best-of-7 series.
It's a scary moment for them when Drippe comes around that corner because we've seen twice now he can pull those shots out of nowhere, so it does leave Scylla a little bit scared when he goes solo.
1 minute 30 in game number 2. How much can Scylla achieve further in this game? Billy Fan Club opening in the goal. Torsos came through. But it has been Scylla Esports pressing the heck out of us. I got to say, it is, like you said, Curry, maybe they are playing a little bit slow. Does it work? Not too sure. Jake comes through. Shot missed from Drippe. As the follow-up, we'll just go over to Torsos. And as we bounce it on back, Scylla Esports regain control once again. This possession is pretty much always going to them.
Which is strange, right? Because we normally expect BFC to have great rotations, and the thing that normally lets them down is their shooting. But this game, we're seeing them drop the rotations, and they're relying on Drippe's perfect shots to carry them forward.
Scylla Esports have brought it back once again. The ball goes over Jake. Sorry, that was Torsos. Jake and Drippe sitting in goal. Scylla Esports having the time of their life.
And Drippe is sitting on no boost, and Jake is low as well. This is a great opportunity for them to just put it away.
Here we go. Scylla setting up the goal, the montage, the passing play. 30 seconds. They have all the time in the world. We go to overtime, and Scylla Esports, in the past, their overtimes have not been super successful, but that's only Game 7, Korea.
And they've had time since those days to work on it, and this may be the time they stick it to BFC.
Yeah, the backing of an organization like Scylla has got to be good for these guys. Previously Sandcastle, now into an org. Billy Fan Club trying to prove us wrong right here, right now. Drippe hits the ball up. It looks like they want to go to overtime, but the setup, very close indeed. But it is still overtime.
It just shows you how much control Scylla is currently having, that they can take BFC to the edge like this and almost punish them straight off a kickoff.
Who was it who believed in Scylla Esports? Was it either Cheeseman? I think Cheeseman went for Pale Horse. Was it you?
Scylla Esports was actually none of us on the predictions, but we are seemingly proved wrong by how well they're playing today.
Yeah. Torsos around this corner. Could be interesting. As Billy Fan Club already under threat. This is a big passing play. Drippe for himself. Ball bounces down. Angle is wrong. Jake hits on back. Scylla Esports trying to play this aerial. These higher passes have really been their style in this series so far. Opening. There it is. AOEM. Out of nowhere, this guy comes flying in.
Beautiful play there, taking advantage of the fact he knew that BFC wasn't ready. Drippe had already used his boost and was caught in the back of the net, so effectively no defense.
But that is a second game for Scylla Esports. Billy Fan Club are crumbling under this mob. Game 2, 2-0. Big surprise right now as Billy Fan Club are going to have to take something back. Look at the amount of shots on goal, Korea. I mean, there's 9 shots on goal. There was so much more pressure from the Scylla Esports lineup.
It's true. You can see that in how BFC had to adapt to try survive. You have Jake coming forward, and he has all the shots of the team. 3 of the 5 they're actually taken.
Yep.
So when Jake's taking most of the shots, it means Drippe is getting shut down. Torsos isn't making those connections in the midfield that we'd typically see. So something's going wrong.
But what?
That what is AOEM and Snuff. They're just bullying like crazy. And Dumbo is like a rock, and you can rely on him to be where he needs. He's great on defense, and he can play the midfield beautifully. And he can shoot.
But I mean, they're pushing up the tempo when they need to, but then they're coming to this calm, assertive position where they're kind of out-passing, and they're winning the challenges, they're winning the 50-50s, the little ones that BFC make.
Well, that's it. They play the midfield where the 50-50s and such happen. And because they know that eventually BFC are going to double commit, they can just comfortably wait it out until BFC makes the mistake and then punish them. And we said that earlier, Drippe stuck in the net, final goal in overtime, game.
I mean, for Rocket League Oceania, this is great. This is a team that's pushing up against, what was our top team.
Yeah,
they went internationally, they took down Denial Esports. They took down a North American team. Scylla Esports are taking it to them. There's so much talent in Oceania. It's growing. It's getting better and better. And in game number 3, let's see if that remains true. Look at this. Scylla playing the high passes, setting it on up. AOEM remains in front of net, looking to socket it in. Scylla Esports have an opening in goal here. Drippe just passed it there. There's Torsos. Can't bump anyone out of the way. Better start for BFC, however.
That's exactly it. We do see, typically in tournaments, they slowly build up and perform better as the day goes on. As Jake would say, momentum is a lie.
As Hysterics would say, momentum is not a lie. Scylla Esports using that moment. Amp again! Where does he come from?
He lives inside their side of the pitch. Knows exactly what's going to go on. And there's the example. Snuff setting up the plays for his teammates and beautifully slipping it under their noses.
Maybe it's not a case of AoE Amp, it's a case of where did the rest of Scylla Esports come from? Because Amp is always there in front of the goal mouth. Lovely times ahead for Scylla Esports as they lead a goal. And in the early portions of these games, it's been Billy Fan Club getting the first one in. This is a big change for Scylla Esports. They've secured the first. There's a quick demolition there. Is there an opening? No, they don't rotate around. Again, the miscommunication, and Scylla Esports take advantage of it.
But they are going to try adapt. We have seen already 1 minute in, they've got 2 demolitions. So we could be seeing BFC trying to change it up and be a lot more aggressive and pressure-based rather than slow, methodical, and filled with rotations.
That was a better challenge coming through. Jakey boy. Very nice indeed. And AOEM losing that 50-50 play.
And that's what we're talking about, new style of play. Jake going for the 50-50s rather than staying back and being reactive, taking more shots. And it's starting to pay off for them, taking it back to 1-1.
What a time to be alive if you're in Rocket League Oceania. Hey, if you're just playing Rocket League and you're wondering, man, what should I do with my life? You know what? This is not a bad start. Scylla Esports bringing it 1-1. Billy Fan Club actually getting one back as a result. Here we go. Another shot coming in from AOEM. He gets the angle right. It's placed even better. Around the corner, redirect, and send it home.
Well, that's it. The first shot pulls out the defense. They all get stuck in net, and they are sitting ducks for that follow-up where Dumbo just pushes it away.
You notice there they changed. When AOEM had that shot, Scylla Esports rotated 2 members to the left wing, and then they put the ball in and set Dumbo up in AOEM.
Yeah, they were happy to recenter because they saw that BFC was coming in. They double committed to the defense, and then after they'd made their first initial touch, it was over.
So a nice play from Scylla Esports results in them being up and off the backboard. This is not what you want. Jake has to be careful. Passing over to that corner. Snuff's waiting back. Hits the ball, misses it actually. Could result in something, and Jake coming through. Lucky he gets back in time. Scylla Esports have to be careful. If there's an opening, BFC will punish it.
BFC are so strong on their rotations that it is something that they are want to do. And Jake, he's a great reader of plays, and the fact he's coming forward means that they won't be missing the opportunities.
Here comes Jake off the wing once again. Like you said, Curry, he's coming forward, setting up for Drippe. Dumbo hits the ball over the corner. That's great from Scylla Esports. They will slow it down again and regain possession.
Well, then when you move all 3 players into one corner of the pitch, you're completely open after going for the clear. So possession passes right back to BFC, and here we see it, pressure.
Jake lobs the ball, hits the side wall. As it hits off, Dumbo Lets it bounce right in front of Billy Fan Club. The ball hits the wall. Could go in if Torsos can drop it down. He needs to slam dunk it. Drippe decides otherwise and passes it over to Torsos. Jake hangs back. Torsos has a shot. Dumbo hits it up again. This guy's having a great series as well.
Drippe and Jake have a bit of miscommunication, both going for the same shots. Possession has flipped. Scylla now has an opportunity to run this up, but it seems like they've conceded it.
Aerial just does not stop from Scylla Esports. They're playing so high into this pitch career.
And it's using a lot of time, and it is allowing BFC to get back, get their boost, re-initiate their positions, and take the ball straight back from them.
Billy Fan Club just getting big clears, but Scylla Esports capitalizing so dearly. Ball might lob over through the smoke and flames. We see that it did not go into that net, but instead still hanging around. Why do I apologize? I'm not sorry. Scylla Esports are playing an explosive game here. Billy Fan Club still a goal behind. There's an opening here, but they just can't seem to get the possession they want. The ball is hanging in front of this net.
Yep, they're undercommitting when it matters and overcommitting when you really can't afford to. And it's just costing them on both sides of the pitch.
Okay, Scylla Esports. Can you keep the goal lead for a minute? We're about to find out. The ball's going to bounce off and redirected by Drippe into the middle of the field. 50 seconds remaining, and Jake is playing back. This is the style of BFC we've come to know. Jake plays back. A lot of defense necessary against the Scylla Esports squad. Jake pushes forward. That means something's happening.
That's when the excitement happened. Jake has got a read, knows this is a moment that he can come forward, and BFC aren't the fastest teams. They need to make use of this current play.
Remember, it is a best of 7. Scylla Esports starting out strong. I don't want to say it, but they have been reverse swept before, and it has not been pretty. Torso setting up the ball for Drippe. Scylla bump it on top, and there we go. That could have been the play they needed. 20 seconds. Another big clear from Scylla could mean they secure game 3.
Snarf doing exactly what we said he would, trying to control that midfield. Great bump though by Jake, opening up the goals, but it's not on target. Their accuracy costing them potentially this game.
Even worse, it was a demo and it didn't mean a single thing. Scylla Esports much stronger in this defense than we've come to know in the past. They take game 3, and BFC, they are under fire in these quarterfinals.
Well, I hope Billy Fan Club is wearing their reverse sweeping boots, because otherwise they are in a lot of trouble.
What do they look like?
They kind of look like rollerblades, but they have bristles on the end.
So like a broom, right?
Yeah, like a broom.
So as you're walking, you know, you do a bit of the tapper.
Can you give me a little bit of...
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stand here.
The camera wasn't on. We missed it.
No.
What a shame.
They're not going to see a thing. If you look at Billy Fan Club right now, laid out to me, like we said in the first and second games, Scylla were able to dictate the pace, whether it's fast, slow, and their tempo has just been monumental.
Oh, yeah.
So what do BFC need to do now? What creates this win condition for them, and how do they bring it back in a 4-game straight series?
Stop holding each other's hands. They're literally like so far in each other that they're unable to do anything because they're pretty much playing with 2 people.
Yep.
Every time they go up for a ball, you see Snarf either beats them off the ground or they double commit and then they get punished for it later. Or we see them in the goals. They get the first touch, they defend, they do a small clear, but they're stuck somewhere inside the net. And you see the goals coming in with them just kind of waving there in the distance.
See, it feels like when they have these passing plays and when they push the ball upfield, there are some really good shots. There's some really good setups, but Scylla Esports, their defense just looks better than in previous weeks.
Well, that's it. Their rotations have been really, really nice. And because they're pressure-based, whenever BFC does get an opportunity, it's normally one that can't be meaningfully used.
This is game 4, and this is a great setup already from Scylla Esports. They take one more game, they move up to the semifinals, and they take on Pale Horse Esports in another best of 7. Scylla Esports have definitely fought for this one, but BFC aren't out of it yet. We've seen bigger things from them. We've seen more deadlier games against Scylla Esports. Let's see if, for once in a solid amount of time, they see a clean sweep. Maybe not. Oh, very close from Jake. BFC, again, starting up with shots, but just not securing them.
Yeah, they had the beautiful rotation there. We saw Jake planning like a shark, slowly moving in, but on the follow-up, it's their biggest problem normally, their accuracy. He couldn't land it, and it was perfectly right for the taking.
Wasn't a clear from Jake, but Drippe makes it so. Dumbo back into defense, lobs it over, and he gets his own clear, setting up for AoE Amp. Goes over to Jake. Torsos waiting in the wing. Ball will bounce back around. No one is in defense right now. Jake comes in off the roof. The backboard, the passing play ready for Drippe, but not ready quick enough. Scylla will commit 2 members to the ball, and Passing it over to Jake. He will regain his dominance as he goes for another aggressive play. The passing begins once again. Scylla, regain.
Ooh, but it was beautiful watching Jake there beat out 2 of the players, but Scylla are just so fast on the ground that they're unable to make anything after they win those 1v1s and dribbles.
Still been Scylla Esports setting themselves up for big shots like this. All the high passes come and lead to one moment. And it is getting that first goal. It is structuring your game. Game number 4. BFC could be knocked out. This could be the first time that they do not go to a final. And Scylla Esports are looking to make a name for themselves. And they're doing it time and time again. One of these shots are bound to go in. Jake is bumped mid-air with Snarf. AOEM rolls over the ball. Scylla Esports controlling this corner, but not before Billy Fan Club have their say. Dumbo rolls in. He says, no, it's my time to shine. AOEM says it's something dark side. something complete Scylla. You dirty birdie, setting themselves up for a shot again. Here it is. Snarf knew it was coming, and Scylla did as well.
The pressure eventually forced them to crack. The demos came through. Didn't matter anyway. That bled BFC of almost all boost, and it was a matter of time before they got that goal.
Every single time. Talk about bleeding boost. Talk about bleeding the defense dry. Billy Fan Club have to go ahead and get boost. There's only one person left in goal, and Torsos can't do anything.
Oh, that is savage, Jake. But yes, they have been bleeding them all the boost, and then both teams are fighting for the ones in the middle of the pitch, and Billy Fan Club can't afford to cheat forward, because if they do, they'll lose.
Esports controlling the corner again. That's fantastic from AOEM. I believe it was actually Dumbo. Sorry, I'll apologize for that. AOEM was hanging back, and Dumbo is now going for another play. It's Scylla Esports. It's the offense that we've been seeing time and time again, but it's taken to a new level. BFC taking it himself. It's Jake with an epic play. Close call.
It's that accuracy Jake has been struggling with through this series that has cost them another goal, which would have brought them to equalizing. He's got such strong rotations, but when it comes to the follow-up, not there.
Also hangs back. Scylla Esports trying to regain themselves to position for another goal. It's them passing up the field off the backboard on the wing. Who's at? It's Dumbo. Passes on through to Snarf. Has another shot. Snarf hanging around this corner. He's going to touch it again. Torsos misses the shot, goes too far forward. Snarf trying to lob it in, but it's Jake who's back in time. And Scylla have to deal with whatever's going on in front of this goal. Is it enough? Is the defense good for Scylla Esports? No, maybe it isn't. Oh my god, Jake playing with fire against this goal.
Yeah, Torsos having to use half his boost just to get out of here. Now is forced to rotate so far away from the fight, or he's going to be stuck away from goals when it matters.
2 people in defense from Billy Fan Club. They cannot get this clear. Torsos proves me wrong finally. Scylla will jump up for the aerial. Jake was hoping he'd miss it. Maybe Torsos can hope the exact same thing as it goes off the backboard, and we are continuously reminded that Billy Fan Club are 0-1 in this game. Jake trying to wait for the ball to drop, but who finds it first? It's Scylla Esports. Pass back by Torsos. It's still the shot. He doesn't find the follow-through. Can Jake get it? Very close call. AOEM saves it.
Yeah, having no boost at all, even when they got the opportunity to attack, they were forced to constantly rotate around, and AOEM punishing them when they get it back.
Look at the speed of this ball. AOEM has had a fantastic series. Look at this. Ball bounces over the top of Torsos. That shouldn't have happened, but did he have any boost?
He had none. None of their team had any boost to use, having just come back off that offense.
2-0. Scylla Esports have just proved that predictions are simply predictions. And here today, 4-0 could be a heavy score against our top OCE team, or what was our top OCE team. This is Season 3. This is the time to build yourself up for our Season 4 and our RLCS. But this is to take some prize money. This is to put yourself as Throwdown's Rocket League Season 3 champions. And it starts here for Scylla Esports. BFC, they have 10 seconds. I'm not sure they can do this. In fact, I know they probably can't do this. We're looking realistically at a Scylla Esports who have taken down our reigning champions and won't even get a goal in this last game. That's going to be it. Billy Fan Club are out.
Fatality. 4-0 to the old champions.
Wow.
That is crazy. They're going to be so confident going into this gauntlet, coming off the back of that, showcasing just how strong their pressure plays can be.
So that's one best of 7. That means Scylla Esports will move on up and take on Pale Horse Esports. But Billy Fan Club, my God, jeez, man, that's a 4-0.
No, who clean sweeps Billy Fan Club? I don't
Scylla.
even like.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember back to the last time
Scylla.
that they were clean swept, and I don't know if there's been a case in Throwdown history, but yes, apparently Scylla do, and they did it in style. They did it dominantly.
Oh, yeah.
They just hit the backboard over and over and over again, and there was no point where BFC were ready for it.
Oh no, they got destroyed. You could just slowly watch the boost go down. It was like almost like a health bar. When it hit 0, it's like, oh, the goal happens now. It was just, so easy.
But if anything, Scylla were our dark horse coming in through this, right? Because we said that, look, we think BFC will take it out. It'll be close, but it'll be BFC pushing through in the end. That was not close by any means. That was a Scylla Esports that was on fire and shows that Pale Horse have got to be worried coming into the next best of 7 series.
We saw signs of that coming through at the end of the season
We
in
did.
that very last series where they dominated Legacy.
Yeah.
So they've dominated Legacy, they've dominated BFC, and they have 2 more to go if they want to be champions.
Well, that's the thing, right? Dumbo's only been back in the game for like weeks.
Yeah.
So the first matches we saw him back with wasn't going to be him at peak performance. It had so much time off. But since every day passes, he's just been getting better and better, and the team is getting tighter and tighter. And it shows.
It really does show. And AOE he was a monster in that series. He scored almost every single one of their goals.
Yeah.
He got,
Oh, yeah.
I think it was 6 or 7 goals over the 4 games. And he's the one who's going to be carrying.
Not only that, I think the communication coming out of Scylla Esports was much better this week. I mean, against Legacy, you could argue that they weren't as top quality a team as BFC, but then BFC were kind of everywhere. You know, there's a lack of communication. But Scylla Esports, their setups, their passing plays looked on point more than I've ever seen before.
And they looking forward to going up against Pale Horse Esports, who do the same thing as them.
Okay.
And they're executing so well, and that's what Scylla needs. It's always about whether they're executing, and right now they're on top of their game.
Yeah, they were really fast off the ground. Like both Snarf and AOEM were so quick to the ball that a lot of the times it didn't even matter if they got the follow-up touch because they're already there as well, halfway up the pitch, knowing it's coming.